record for students that can't make it to the meetings.
Gotcha.
Okay. Somebody asked a question in the chat. I believe they're asking, how can we find the queer and trans animation site?
For that one, I think you have to email the creator of it and get an authorization to join the Discord. I think if you just Google queer and trans in animation, it should show up what you have to email and to who. I don't know it off the top of my head, but usually all you have to do is email them and they'll let you join the Discord.
Yeah, I'm in queer and trans in animation as well. And you basically just send an email.
Oh, everyone's so nice. Thanks for listening to me talk.
Question. You said you live in California. Is that because of work or is it just for personal preference?
I say a little bit of both. I moved shortly after my internship, mostly because I felt like it was the right move for me at the time for my life, and it would be easier to continue staying in the loop with things and stay relevant within my circles and actually meet the people that I worked with. And it's been nice for me. I like the weather too. That was a bonus. Mountains are cool. I like them.
All right.
It's definitely a financial commitment, I will say. And everyone's journey is different to moving out here. It has been a challenge, but I think in the long run, it makes certain industry things a lot easier.
Yeah, I've just noticed a lot of creatives have all been focused in California recently. So
yeah, most of the industry is here. I think Disney might be opening a branch in Orlando, I heard recently, which is cool. But a lot of it is in LA, which is kind of unfortunate for people who are long distance like us.
definitely.
Really quick, we have another question in the chat. Somebody, Rihanna, asked, I wanted to know how the animation program at UCF prepared you for your internships and your current work in the industry.
This is a mixed bag. I will say there were a lot of really good experiences that I got from the animation program at UCF that helped in terms of being a co-director, because in my situation, I already had some experience with production because of that experience. Co-directing that film, I was essentially a part of maybe 3 people who were in charge of managing the production for that. So we got to really see the behind the scenes of what goes into making something, get a firsthand look at what a pipeline for an animation project was going to be. Granted, it was slightly different than TV, and it wasn't exactly geared towards TV careers. And a lot of what prepared me for the internship was my own portfolio work on the side that I did during that program. But I think the most important thing that was a takeaway was the actual working in a team aspect of that program and getting to know what that's like and who you are as an individual teammate and how you contribute to a team. That is probably the trickiest part for anybody when they first start, I think. But that program was mostly 3D based, I will say. So a lot of what you'll do in that program, if you are in it already or not, is 3D animation, which is not what I do. I do 2D now, so.
We also have another question after that one from Paola. Are you part of any animation guild?
Currently, no, solely because to be in an animation guild, you have to be full-time employed at a studio for at least a minimum of a few months to be able to pay the dues for it, because they do take a pretty hefty portion of your paycheck to be in a guild. And that's also a minimum requirement. Because I did some freelance and I was still working for Disney, I had the opportunity to join, but because it wasn't full-time, it wasn't like enough to be able to keep up with it. But I do plan on joining one at some point. There's a lot of benefits to being in one.
Yeah, our last speaker talked about the Animation Guild.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they were talking about like all the benefits and basically what it does and explaining every part of it, which is really cool.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of really cool things you could get from being in a guild.
Mhm. Oh, I have a question. What would you say was, I guess, the most challenging part adapting to like the hands-on experience of like jumping into your internship, like in the pipeline and like how everything's scheduled and, meeting deadlines and stuff?
I think the most challenging thing, this is going to sound cheesy, but the most challenging thing was honestly trying to fight the, what's the word? That little demon inside your head that tells you you're not good enough to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's
Yeah.
like suddenly you're like 1 second you're working in college and then you're next to these big artists who you've seen online and you're super hyped to be working besides, but you're also like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And that's okay. That is a normal feeling to have, but it is very scary and a bit of an obstacle to overcome when you first show up there. And physically challenging, I'd say getting used to the deadlines is tricky because they're demanding and fast. And the artists who are there have been working for years and they know their limitations, and you're still trying to figure out how fast you can work and how much you can do. With practice, it gets easier, I will say, but at first it was a lot of change and very hard to stay on track with it.
Okay. Nice. Yeah, I believe every artist has that little little demon in their head. Pops up all the time.
Yeah, it's rough.
Yeah.
We got to remind ourselves that we're worthy of whatever opportunities we get.
Exactly. Put in the work, the hours, so we have the skills.
Exactly. And if you can hear them meowing.
I was just about to ask.
I had a question about the internship and kind of that process. Like you mentioned that it was sort of a sorry, I have dual monitors, so I know in my camera it looks like I'm looking off to like nowhere, but I'm moving you now. But like about the beginning of that process and kind of how that internship went down. Like,
Wait, can you repeat the question one more time? Sorry.
So like for that Disney internship with TVA, like so you got that internship after graduation?
Technically, I got it before, but I started after I graduated.
Okay.
So I found out about it probably my last month of school.
What about how was the process of like, was it just you sent in your portfolio and then you got a response? Was there like interviews and I don't know.
For this one internship, I know it's been different for other people who've gotten at different studios, but for this one, I only had one interview, and it was the same person who had reached out to me when I sent my email and told me like, hey, you should actually apply. We'll open it up for like a second chance. And that one person was the only person who ever talked to me about anything. And then they offered me the job right after. Shh. Evil.
Thank you.
No problem.
We do have one question in the chat. Isabel asked, how is the work/life balance of being an animator in the industry?
Oh man. Well, luckily in my experience, I've only been freelancing, so I haven't had a full-time position just yet. Some of those freelance positions have been feeling like full-time because they'll give you full-time hours for just a short amount of time.
Mhm.
And when I was working in those, the work-life balance is tricky, I will say. Making sure that you still have time to rest up and not burn out is tricky, but super important. For me now, I would say finding time to work on your own personal projects outside of working is also important because it's just, you don't want to forget why you're actually here and what you are passionate about. And I think making time for it, even if it is tricky, is important. I will say it's difficult, but it's not impossible. Not impossible.
Oh, to add on to that question, what would you say is I guess like a trick or like a hack that you've like developed or found out like an easy way to deal with the balance of like work and not burning out and yeah.
I'd say I tried scheduling things, like making things consistent so that I had something every morning that was like my me time before I went to work. And that became mornings for me. So before I had an assignment, I would go to the gym or I'd make my little breakfast and my little drink and I would have my silly little toast and I'd feel okay. So
Okay.
I think just having a constant that you look forward to every day where you can just kind of be alone before the chaos or after, whatever works for you. That was kind of like a hack.
Okay, cool. Nice.
He has a lot to say.
I see he wants to put in his input.
Yeah.
Alexandra asked, how long do you intern for every day? I'm assuming they're asking during your internship or like how long, how many hours?
For that internship, it was full time. So it was about 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. So we were almost full-time artists at that point.
Gotcha.
Mhm. I think most internships are also full-time.
We have another question. What do you do in between studio jobs in terms of making a living so you can keep staying in LA?
Fun. No, that's fine to ask. I'm actually a barista. So
Nice.
I work at a Barnes and Noble Starbucks, and that helps me pay the bills. And I know plenty of people who do have multiple jobs and do what they have to survive between gigs because it is very rare and hard to come across long-term positions. Ooh, I see another question.
Yeah.
Tips on networking. I think the tips are different depending on where you're located. So I'll start with my tips if you're long distance. I was long distance for the first half of my foot in the door experience. So that was tricky. But when it came to networking, I'd say join as many organizations as you can, talk to as many people as you can, try to have as many mentors as they let you have in those organizations, and just try to get your work out as much as possible. I know for most positions now, they're kind of going back into hybrid, but there are still some that are fully remote at certain studios. When I did my internship, like I said, I asked so many questions and I asked so many people to meet with me, and I probably annoyed them a lot. But I think questions are always good to ask people when you have the opportunity. So shoot your shot. And then if you actually are in LA, there are tons of different events that you can go to. And almost everywhere you go, you'll accidentally bump into people that you know. So you don't really even have to try here as much. You will literally go to a bar and see like 10 people from the industry and meet them there. So it's fun, but yeah, pretty much just being friendly, being a good person, make actual friends. And I highly recommend not having a super networky mindset when you're doing this, because a lot of the times it's who you know, but most of the times it's your friends who are going to be the ones who support you and actually look out for your best interest. So be a cool person and the networking will come to you. That's the truth. I'm guessing this question is about like my side jobs.
Yes, from Andrea Quino. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing it terribly. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's about the side job, the barista job that you mentioned.
It depends on the job usually. If I'm freelancing, I will maintain my part-time as well and just do both at the same time because the hours are more flexible. If I were to be offered a full-time at this point, I would definitely leave my barista job for that because I want to have a life outside of it. But usually I've worked, I think, 3 different jobs since I've been here. So once I get a job, I'll leave it, then I'll come back and get a new one. It's kind of a tedious process, but it's not so bad. But yeah, I wouldn't recommend working part-time on top of a full-time if it's your first time doing that, because it's a big life adjustment.
And then we have another one to add on to location questions. Does it seem like there are growing opportunities for working from home in other locations besides LA? I'm not sure if I'll be able to move to California. Also, I love your cat.
He's got so much to say. Thank you. For the location question, I'd say I'm not totally sure about other places besides LA because I really only have the experience here and in Orlando. And at the time that I was living in Orlando, it was like peak pandemic, so things were almost entirely remote. I'm not completely familiar with like how it's working now and what studios are going hybrid or having remote options or making new studios. But I'm sure there are still plenty that are looking for people who are work from home. I haven't been into a real animation studio since I moved here, if that tells you anything, because they've all been remote. So I say you have a fair chance, and I would try anyway. But it depends on the studio, of course.
That is true. You don't know until you try for like honestly anything. Even it seems like, you
Yeah.
might not get in. Like you said for your portfolio, you submitted it after applications were closed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Even if it says hybrid, maybe if you apply and they really like you, they'd be willing to make an exception. So
yeah,
you never know.
We have another question. Did you have any previous internships or jobs in the industry prior to applying?
No, I think the only industry experience that I had was working in the program on the short film, which technically is not industry, but it still like showed that it was an understanding of working on something that mimics real life industry. So I want to say that helped with my applications because they could see that I've worked on a project before, I've been on a team before, I know how to meet deadlines, I know how to, do the thing. I did have like one character design experience, but it wasn't animation industry. So like even small little projects that you do for like someone on the side or like some illustration jobs can be good to show that you can like work as an artist for something. It doesn't have to be industry related. But for the most part, not really. I don't think you need it for internships as long as you can show that you're good to work in the job.
Oh, I do have a question. as like an anime or just as an artist in general, personally, do you have any like specific goals or like I guess career goals currently that you're working towards?
Yes. So right now I'm a character designer, but my bigger goal is to be a showrunner and to eventually get to pitch a show of my own someday and get to do something with that. I also really want to be a staff writer. So my goal would be to move up to being a writer from being an artist, if it's possible, just because I really like the story aspect of animation. And even though I love character design and I can do it, you don't get to have as much say in the story as an artist. I mean, as a writer would, or a showrunner, you get to literally share your stories with the world. So I'd say that would be my big goal, as well as landing like a full-time at a studio.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a cool goal.
Thank you. I hope so too, Viviana. Thank you.
So we'll probably be wrapping up soon, guys. If nobody has any more questions, yeah, we'll wait like a minute or two, just in case somebody else thinks of any questions or is trying to figure out what to say. But yeah.
Once more, while everyone's still here, please pay your dues. It's in the Discord. I can get you cool things if you pay your dues. So thank you.
And you should sign into the attendance sheet that I'm sending
yeah.
again in the chat.
Yes,
If you
please
didn't sign in
do.
the first time.
Okay, so we do have one last minute question. Do you have any recommendations for working towards the writing side of animation? Like, should I take writing classes while I'm here at UCF? I'm also interested in writing and creating stories.
Oh, cool. I'd say the biggest recommendation I have for you if you're interested in writing is to write your own scripts on the side, like outside of school, outside of anything else. Just start somewhere and write a script. I don't know if classes are totally necessary simply because, at least depending on what you're interested in writing for, there's very specific formats and things that you need to know for that. So if you're interested in writing for TV or writing for movies, like those are two completely separate beasts. And I don't know what kind of classes they offer at UCF or if they have like screenwriting classes that are tailored to what you're interested in. If they are, go for it. That sounds awesome. If not, I say just like start writing your own stuff and look up resources for it. I think I started my first script writing attempt when I was a student at UCF, and it was like my last semester of college. I literally just looked up a script from like one of my favorite shows, and I like looked at it, the format, studied it, tried to mimic the format and whatever I wanted to do. Yes, Vincent, you're so right. He says that you should look up the shows that you like and try to study them. And honestly, your first script will probably not be the best just because it's your first script, but the more that you write, the better they're going to get. So just start somewhere, I would say. Write everything down. Write every episode idea you have or movie idea. Yeah, thank you, Vincent. Thank you. See you. I would have to chase him now because he just left. He's gone like the wind. Missed opportunity.
It looks like Vincent came in to just drop some wisdom and left.
He had something really important to say. He's actually my roommate's cat, but I pretend adopted him.
That's sweet.
Oh, I've basically done that with my roommate's cat too. His name's Walter.
Aw,
Can
He's
confirm.
Yeah, he is mine on Tuesdays and Thursday nights.
I mean, once you live with a cat, they're technically your roommate, so
Yeah. You're just like a free roaming roommate.
a noisy roommate that runs into your room during presentations.
Yes.
Cool.
Okay, I guess we'll start wrapping up. If nobody has any more questions, thank you so much for everybody who asked questions. If you didn't ask, thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much, Sage, for speaking about your experience and just giving us like every droplet of wisdom or personal experience. It's been
Oh.
awesome.
Thanks for
Um,
having me.
Well, yeah, of course. Thank you. And thank you. Yeah, again, everybody for coming tonight. Don't forget, sign the attendance sheet and also pay dues, please, just so we can attend the events we have coming up. And I hope everybody has a good night. You're free to go if you have to. You can also stay if you want to talk some more, which is totally cool. Yeah, if anybody wants to stay after talk, I can stay here. Sage, do you have to go if anybody decides to stay?
Good. I'm chilling.
Okay, awesome, cool. So I'll see for a minute or two if anybody wants to stay and talk. But yeah, other than that, everybody else is free to go. Have a good Thursday night, guys.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Everyone's so nice.
Okey-doke.
Broke my monitor, I think. Now I try and move it like it's because I have a tablet that I use as like a second monitor. And I went to like move the zoom from one over the other, and now it like it thinks it's one big screen. So when I try and full screen, it like splits it in half. So I am having technical issues on my side.
Okay, wow. Technically your screen's bigger, just not together.
Yeah, it's just I just want to be able to look at the screen without looking like I'm very distracted by something. Okay, I think I fixed it.
Okay.
I was just really curious about internships because we were recently talking about that in character. Because a lot of the juniors are like, yeah, we're gonna get internships over the summer, and then our professor had to like sit us down and be like, that probably won't happen. So
Yeah. I mean, with the character program, they do make you work during the summer for the junior year. So I still attempted, like I shot my shot in junior year to see if I could get it, but I never landed any of those. I can't imagine how the workload would be. I think was Kenna during school?
Hmm?
I think Kenna was one of the alumni who came before me, did her internship during the program, like, and came back the next semester, which is wild. I don't know how she did that, but I wasn't in school when I did mine, so.
yeah, I am currently a junior in the program, so I'm probably going to be working over the summer if I don't get an internship. So I'll probably be multitasking pretty hard, but
Oh,
the
man.
Gong Show is coming up on the 28th, so we'll see how that goes.
That is a name I haven't heard in so long. The flashbacks.
I'm very nervous because one of my ideas is going up, so we'll see
Oh,
what
Godspeed.
happens.
That was the same position I was in your place. And it was nerve-wracking, but it'll be fine. I'm sure you'll do awesome.
Any tips for the gong show?
Gong show is a time. If you're the little pack leader of your group, and it's your story, I'd say just having fun with it will make it the most tolerable experience that you can get out of it. Because again, it's not that deep. It is fun and it should be fun. And sometimes people take it a little serious, but as long as you love what you're doing and you're having a good time, you'll survive it.
Thank you
Peter
for the
is
advice.
Walter. For anyone that's stuck around, this is Walter.
Walter looks adorable.
Yes, he's being very tolerant and he's starting to not like this. So,
Oh my god.
yeah, he's a mild
cute.
chonk. A mild chonk. He's not a big chonk. Like, he's not chonker.
He's just
He's
like,
a mild chonk.
yeah.
Solid mid-tier chunk.
Yeah, he's like a good 11 pounds. So,
That's good.
We've got a lot of support for Walter in the chat.
Yeah.
Love Walter. Also, look at these Owl House costumes. Hello. That's cool. Send me pictures. I want to know what they look like. This year I'm dressing up as Jim from Our Flag Means Death. I don't know if anyone has seen that show, but
Yes.
I'm going to try to be Jim.
Jim is a non-binary icon.
Nice.
A win for the Caribbean Latinos.
Oh, can we connect with you on LinkedIn?
Sure. I think it's just my name. I don't know if you have ats on LinkedIn, but yes, feel free to connect with me on there.
Oh, if you guys want, or if you want Sage, you can join our Discord. I'll send you the link. That's when we just talk about future events. If you ever want to join as a student, well, not really a student, but somebody just looking
An
in,
alumni.
an alumni.
I'm just
but-
creeping on all your events.
yeah, but yeah, if you want, I'll send you the link. So if you want, you can join any of our online events. And then we also do have a creative mixer next semester if you're free to join. Yeah. Yeah.
Sounds good. Yeah, send me that for sure.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Hope everyone's Thursday is going well. Good.
So far, so good.
It's 8, 9 over there.
Yeah.
That's just about 9 o'clock. Yeah.
What time is it over there?
6. So I still have sun coming through my window.
Okay.
Yeah. My oldest brother lives in the Bay Area, and so scheduling things on Zoom with him is very difficult because it's usually a very, very different time.
Oh yeah, for sure. And with my work schedule now, it's trying to do time distance stuff and figure out when I'm working is a mess. I still miss my friends from back home.
Hmm.
This is an interesting question. How did you go about what was your process for finding a place to live out in LA? Did you
I don't know if I'd recommend my strategy, honestly. I don't know if I could look at you in the eye and say that you should do this. But in my particular situation, I kind of had to move short notice because of something that happened in my personal life back home. So I just went on Twitter and found someone who was I need a roommate in LA. And then I scheduled a Zoom call with them to make sure they weren't giving me psychopath vibes. And I moved the next month. So I don't think you should do that. I don't think you
I
should
think
do
I saw a
that.
documentary on that once.
It's not the safest thing. But again, I was in a position that I had to move out really fast. So
Yeah.
other people I know have planned it over months. So do that.
How was your when you got the internship? So that was all remote, right? Or
Yeah, I
was-
did the entire thing from home.
Okay. Because most internships now require relocation. So I was
Do they? They're
It's-
hybrids?
Well, it's a lot of internships are just in person. So, and most of them are in California. So it's unfortunate.
Yeah, I have no idea because luckily I did not have to move anywhere for that. So man, I hope there are some that are virtual still.
They are few and far between, which is a little disappointing considering they had interns who worked remote and it was fine. Like,
Yeah, I don't know why they would close it back up. I think the animation industry as a whole, they're very like protective of their cultures and their like
Yeah.
vibe at the workplace. So they like they care a lot about people being in the office for some reason. And it's a mixed bag. Like I see the pros and cons, of course, but they really seem to care about it for some reason. Yeah, missing your friends is hard. But you'll make new friends too. There's lots of cool people here. If you do end up moving. It's a scary change, of course, like moving across the country, but it's always a chance to start fresh and cool new things to find. It's exciting.
How was the
Liked it.
adjustment? for,
Hard.
Yeah.
I think I'm still adjusting. It's been a year since I've moved now, just about a year actually. And I'm still adjusting to some things, but overall, I like it better than living in Orlando personally. There wasn't like a ton to do in Orlando that I enjoyed when I was there, except the theme parks. I miss the theme parks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do miss that.
I actually have to head out, but thank you so much for talking. I really
Of
appreciate it.
course.
Have a
Have a
good
good night,
one.
Maggie.
Nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you. Oh, I have to assign the co-host.
Oh, okay.
right.
You can go ahead, do that. I'll be the
All right.
host / co-host.
I'm now entrusting this to you.
Thank you.
So does anyone here actually want to work in TV animation, or is it, are you guys feature people? What's the vibe? If I can ask.
I know Naya and I were talking yesterday. I'm more on like the technical art side as opposed to a lot of people's 2D and 3D animation side. So I'm just here
cool.
for vibes. Like I'm here for vibes and like hearing tips and stuff. But yeah, animation, like characters is not my thing.
Gotcha.
I'll unmute for this, but I want to go into storyboarding primarily, but I'm also open to like 2D animation and stuff, either
Cool.
feature or TVA.
Sick.
Nice.
I hear feature is a lot chiller for storyboards, if that means anything to you.
Definitely gonna keep that in mind.
Yeah.
No, Nick's work is like fabulous. I sit next to Nick in my intro to animation class and I look over and I'm like, holy cow, it looks amazing every single time.
They're so
Nice.
talented.
You've got a fan.
Thanks, guys.
For sure your work is awesome.
I would like to pretty much like try out everything. I don't know if that's possible because I know like people usually go into one thing and then stick to it, but it'd be really awesome to do kind of like a variety of like TV and feature and all that good stuff.
Do it. Honestly,
Yes.
I'm a full supporter of doing as many different things as you want in this industry. And everyone will tell you that you have to specialize, but it's so boring. It's very vanilla. And honestly, you can do anything you want. It'll just take time, but you have a whole career to like do different things that you want to do. So
Exactly,
don't listen to
yeah.
the negativity. I support you.
Thank you.
By the way, I just realized that your bedspread is a bunch of jack-o'-lanterns, and I absolutely love that.
Thank you. 'Tis the season, but I'll probably keep this around year round.
Heck yeah.
Yes. I'll probably honestly work toward the same thing as Constance, is just like dabbling in different areas. Personally, right now I'm focusing on like what me and Abby talked about today, like 2D and background art. But yeah, once I get a little taste of everything, they'll figure out exactly where I want to go.
Yeah, there's still time.
Nice.
and
Yeah.
Mhm.
Seriously, there's so much time. If it helps, like I'm still figuring out what I want to do. So and
very
I've been like
comforting.
working here for a while. Like
Yeah,
I
and you
said,
gotta
like,
try. Oh,
you
sorry.
gotta try it.
Yeah. You gotta try different stuff in order to figure it out.
Honestly,
Like-
there's no way to know if you'll like it unless you've worked in it. So
Yeah. Like I was asked at the beginning of the semester, like what type of animation do you want to go into? What kind of job you want to go into? And I'm like, I don't know. I haven't tried it yet. I haven't tried anything yet.
there's so much time for you to try different things out and figure out. Like you can decide to change your portfolio any day you want. It'll be a
Good.
lot of work, but you have the power to do that. So power to
Yeah,
you.
that's good to hear.
Mhm. I was
That's
trying to
the-
do storyboards when I started my internship, and I realized very quickly that it wasn't my thing. So,
That's good you realized it though, at least.
it turns out it turns out I'm better at writing my story ideas than drawing them. So
I think I'm the opposite. I can't write to save my life.
and hey, power to you because storyboarding is a powerful tool. Like that is a strong place to be.
That's why there's
I'm
teams.
so
Sorry.
scared of trying to get into the industry because it seems so like, I don't want to say competitive, but like just there's a lot of people applying for the same stuff.
Mhm.
So it's just it's intimidating for
Yeah.
to sum it up.
It's daunting. And like I said, I'm still trying to break in and it's rough because I think we're in a recession now too. So
Yeah.
it's like double,
Gotta love it.
gotta love it. But it is like
Maybe-
weirdly
maybe it'll-
comforting that we're in it together.
Yes.
Like everyone's kind of in the same.
Maybe it'll get better in a year when I graduate.
I really want to hope that by that time there's a bunch of new cool projects that'll just be like dying to pick you up.
I'm
So
hoping. That's what I'm
Yeah.
piggybacking on. The fact that I'm not gonna graduate for another year or two.
there's time. There's time.
Yeah.
Well, I think I'm gonna head off because I need to go eat.
Okay. Have a good dinner.
Thank you for everything. This was a great event.
Thanks
Yeah,
for
nice
Hi,
coming.
meeting you.
boss.
Hope to speak to you again, Sage.
Yeah,
Have a
of
good night,
course.
everyone.
Best
Have
of
a good
luck with
night.
your
Good night.
portfolio.
Thank you. Thank you. Good night.
I'll go too because I'm very tired from this animation program. I had a big project due today. So
I
good
know the
night.
feeling.
Yeah,
Good night.
Rough.
Get some rest.
thank you. Nice meeting you.
You too.
Have a good night.
Good night.
I guess we could start heading out. Unless anybody else had something else they want to talk about. I'm sure some people have to still eat dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone, make sure you eat.
Yes.
Try to sleep for at least, I'm gonna say 5 hours tonight this time.
There
So
you
I know that
go.
walk cycle's coming up, but try. Take care of yourself.
Please.
Yes. Get sustenance and sleep, guys.
Yes. Food, sleep, go pet a cat.
That too, that helps. But yeah, thank you guys for everybody else that's here for coming. Thank you so much, Sage. Again, it's been awesome having you with us. I will send you the Discord link and have a good night, everybody. I'll be ending the Zoom meeting. So have a good night, guys.
Night, everyone. Thanks for having me.
Bye.
Oh.